Introducing the all-new Italiano range of pizza. Pizza Ultimo. Pizza Hut.
Well, the effects of the tropical cyclone currently strengthening over the Bay of Bengal were felt in Sri Lanka yesterday and today as well, with Hatton being one of the worst affected areas.
Several lives have been lost to the adverse weather, while considerable damage has been caused to homes and property. Now, the Disaster Management Centre says that the number of deaths caused by landslides and flooding has risen to 7. 4 of these deaths were reported from the Nuwara district.
Many houses in the Log Hill estate in Koggala, Hatton were submerged by the floods caused by heavy rains brought on by the tropical cyclone. Our correspondent visited the area this morning. 45 families have been affected by the floods and have taken refuge at the Kottagala Kovil. This is the current state of the tea factory that was inundated in Dikoya, Hatton. Earth slips were also reported from the Shannon, Watawala and Malliappu areas along the Colombo-Hatton main road. Our correspondent said that vehicles are travelling on a single lane on the road. Earth embankments also fell on the Hattel-Bogowantalawa road, disrupting vehicular movement. Our correspondent said that heavy rainfall caused the water levels of the Keselgam Oya to rise. The number of families displaced by the rising waters of the Hatton Oya had exceeded 200. According to our correspondent, 64 families from the Holyrood estate in Thalawakale have been displaced by the heavy rainfall experienced last night. The displaced persons have taken refuge at the Holyrood Tamil School. Meanwhile, low-lying areas in the Ratnapura district, including Veralupa, Madduwa, Angammana and Batugedara, have been inundated. Our correspondent said that several areas along the Ratnapura-Panadura main road were also underwater. Meanwhile, a bus plying from Alapatha to Ratnapura veered off the road in the Gatangama area this morning. Our reporter says that 12 people who were injured in the incident have been admitted to the Ratnapura General Hospital. Transportation along the Ratnapura-Alapatha road was also disrupted due to the Karangoda Dimyava and Dambulurwana areas being inundated. This was the level of water that was recorded at 12 noon today at the Mogama water scale in the Kaluganga. Chief Minister of the Sabaragamuwa province, Mahipala Herat, states that principals have been vested with the power to decide whether to close schools in the face of the flooding in Ratnapura. The body of a person aboard a three-wheeler that was washed away after it was caught by a strong current on the Singoya was recovered this afternoon. The tragedy took place when the three-wheeler was making its way across an unsafe bridge in Ankumbura Pallegama at around 4:30 last evening. The victim has been identified as a 42-year-old father of one from Ankumbura, Galkotua. The driver of the three-wheeler was injured and the three-wheeler was discovered in the Halgolla area. The Navalapitiya Pasbage Koralaya Divisional Secretary Madhushani Piyasena said that 1,564 persons in areas coming under the purview of the Divisional Secretariat have been affected due to the prevalent inclement weather. She added that they belong to 358 families.
According to the Disaster Management Center, 2 persons have been reported missing. The DMC adds that 2,847 persons from 774 families have been affected by the adverse weather. The DMC says that 970 persons from 270 families are being sheltered at 4 displaced camps. 18 houses have been destroyed due to floods and earth slips, while 500 houses were partially damaged. News First U reporter Ganeshan Krishanthan from Kotagala joins us now with the situation in the area.
Heavy rains caused considerable damage to the Hatton, Kotagala and Patana areas. The persons affected by the inclement weather have taken refuge at places of worship and public places. The water levels of the Kotmale Reservoir too have risen due to the continuous rainfall. As the spill gates of the reservoir have been opened, the authorities have requested those living in low-lying areas to remain vigilant.
Now you too can submit the pictures, footage you have to News First U Report. Simply log on to www.newsfirst.lk/U Report and send in your stories relating to the extreme weather and be part of the First Citizen Journalism Initiative in Sri Lanka. In the meantime, railway services along the upcountry railway line were disrupted due to falling earth embankments as a result of the extreme weather.
We were forced to cancel the night mail trains plying from Colombo to Badulla and from Badulla to Colombo yesterday as a result of the inclement weather. The railway tracks have been repaired. Hence, we were able to resume services along the railway line by this afternoon.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Disaster Management says that funds have been allocated to provide relief to the persons displaced by the heavy rains.
Because we were aware of this situation, we were able to inform all the officials of this. We also received reports of landslides and earth slips. We have set aside funds to provide relief to the affected persons in all the areas. We have also given instruction to clear the roads and also clean the rivers and canals. I have instructed the officials who are not in the affected zone to travel to the flood-hit areas and initiate relief programs.
The Department of Meteorology says a tropical cyclone is moving away from Sri Lanka. We are now joined by News First Aaron Rajaratnam, who is prepared to explain the current path of the storm. Over to you, Aaron.
Well, thank you, Shane. Let's take a look at the current situation of this tropical cyclone that developed close to Sri Lanka in the Bay of Bengal over the past few days. According to the Department of Meteorology, this storm is currently 750 kilometers off the coast of Jaffna. The satellite image that we obtained via AccuWeather.com clearly shows the current location of the storm. The The storm is currently gathering strength as it moves northwards over the sea and then northeast towards Bangladesh and western parts of Myanmar. Now it is expected that Bangladesh and Myanmar will bear the brunt of the tropical cyclone, which is packing wind speeds of 83 km per hour at its center. Experts warn that the speed of the storm can increase up to 101 km per hour. Local media is of the view that the storm is gradually moving away from Sri Lanka. Although the storm is gradually moving away, Sri Lanka could experience inclement weather over the next few days. The southwestern parts of the country will experience rain, while several other parts of the island will experience gale force winds. Taking a look at the rainfall for the 24 hours ending at 8:30 this morning, Canyon recorded the highest rainfall of 409.1 millimeters.
The effects of this storm were felt by Myanmar today. Al Jazeera reports that a vessel with 200 people evacuating camps in the Rakhine state ahead of the storm had capsized off western Myanmar, killing all but one person.
Thousands of Rohingya Muslims displaced by violence in Myanmar last year have been evacuated from makeshift camps to safer ground due to the oncoming tropical cyclone. The United Nations has warned the storm could lead to life-threatening conditions.
The National Building Research Organization warns that if rains continue for the next 24 hours, there is a risk of landslides and earth slips taking place. The NBRO says that earth slips and landslides can occur in the Matale, Ratnapura, Galle and Kalutara districts. According to the Sri Lanka Mahavali Authority, the water levels of the Kothmale Reservoir are rapidly increasing due to the heavy downpour. The Mahavali Authority points out that the spill gates of the Kothmale Reservoir will have to be opened at any given time within the next 24 hours. The Sri Lanka Mahavali Authority has warned that it is dangerous to get into the waters of the Mahavali River from the Ulapane area to Gampola and also from the Geli Oya, Peradeniya, Katugastota and Polgolla areas. News First will continue to keep you informed on the current weather situation and on the precautions that you should take if you are in affected areas. Stay with News First, your #1 news provider.